Hello, English 10 students. This is your teacher, Mrs. Binta Calhoun, with our weekly update for October 5th through October 9th, 2020. This is quarter one, week 6 of virtual learning with in Honors English 10. This week, gladiators, we are going to be identifying and applying knowledge of personification and literary theme. We will explore personal narratives to determine how authors' use of personification helps to create a theme. We will practice creating virtual annotations on a literary text. And finally, we'll apply our knowledge of personification and literary theme to collect textual evidence on a digital platform that connects to a literary theme. So those were quite a few objectives for this week, but I want to frame our study of personification and literary theme briefly for you before we begin today's class. So, in understanding personification, what we're doing is developing a greater level of awareness about the various techniques that help writers to create their craft and to have a massive impact on their audiences. Personification is a tool that writers use when they provide human attributes or qualities to an inanimate object. And a literary theme is a universal message about life that the author wishes to send to readers. So this week's study guide is going to include the analysis of personification and its meaning for readers, as well as attempts that you will make to develop a thematic statement that explores or details the theme of a literary text. In our study guides this week, we'll be reading an excerpt from Richard Wright's Black Boy, and we'll also be reading an excerpt from The Glass Castle. Both of these initiate the process that we're about to take in exploring personal narratives, as they are examples of personal narratives. Our goal this week is to find out how these writers use stylistic techniques in order to make us connect with their very personal stories. Both of them are personal narratives that are written from first person, and they are actually true stories. Finally, as we prepare to write our own personal narratives, we'll be taking a look at how these writers show us what they're experiencing instead of tell us. How do they use this language or language in general in order to show us what they're experiencing instead of telling us? Now I would like to transition with a few announcements about my grading and reporting process so that you are a little clearer about how to understand what you are seeing in your work in my MCPS classroom. So first and foremost, I'd like you to know that I have adopted a color-coded system for your assignments to send some information through colors about your success on a particular assignment. I am using green to indicate that your answer is correct, yellow to indicate that there is a little bit of issue with your answer, and red to indicate that your answer is incorrect. This is my attempt to just adopt what a street stop sign or stoplight does. When we see green, we know we're ready to go. We see yellow, we slow down. And when we see red, we stop. And such is the case with your work. It's really important, gladiators, that you move forward, and now that we're in week 6, understanding a couple of requirements about appropriate engagement on the virtual platform. Number one, you need to understand that we did share with you at the beginning of the school year that this was no longer a pass or fail experience, but that you would receive a letter grade. Interims were delivered on Friday, and many of you are not necessarily in the range that I had hoped that you would be in. Please be aware that it is going to be essential that you try your very best to be accurate in the work. If you don't feel like you have a grasp on understand the work that we are doing, I am looking for you to reach out to me via email and say that. Once again, I do want to remind you that I check email until 4 p.m. each day, and I begin checking email at 8 a.m. Please be advised also that once you've submitted an assignment, unless you're going to ask for an appointment for office hours, I will not be allowing students to redo work. Unless you're going to get a reteach on the actual skill that you needed to apply, you are not going to get a chance to just fix your answers. That's not actually operating with integrity, and I want to make sure that we do that. So moving forward, please keep in mind that when you have an example in your study guide that is asking you to record what I have provided to you, if you haven't recorded what I provided to you, you will not get full credit. I want to make sure you're engaged in the lesson while we're actually working in class and that you're getting the most out of our virtual experience. For that reason, I do require that the examples that are in the study guide come directly from the presentation that I've given you. I appreciate your attention to this weekly message, and at this time, I'm going to give you a chance to ask me any questions that you might have about the information I've shared with you. So let's get started with class, Gladiators.